I love racing. It doesn't matter what type of racing, at what level. It's entertainment to me and the near billions of fans. Either way, I have been fascinated since the age of 4, and over the years, racing has become faster and safer. Drivers in some motorsports have even turned into top athletes, and in some cases, higher-than-life superstars. Yes, motorsports has come a long way since its first ever race in 1894. But as I sit and watch each race that goes past my eyes, I sometimes ask myself, how dangerous can racing truly get? While today advancements in all series have been stupendous, the road to get there has been littered with a dark past. And today, we dive into just a glimpse of what I'm calling Motorsports Darkest Corners.
Oh, big moment, a massive moment for one of the Pepsi Max cars. Into the wall, out of business for Chaz Mostert, the reigning champion.
Fires by far hold some of the most terrifying moments in motorsports history. For obvious reasons, the exposure to excruciating heat with little to no oxygen gives drivers minimum time to escape wreckages with little to no injury. It's one of the main reasons why fire marshals are seen around the racetrack at all times during race day. Trained officials and volunteers that are well equipped to extinguish any fire that is started during race day to help ensure that rescue is given to drivers as quickly as possible before any reprehensible damage is done. Something that all forms of racing are well equipped. But even at racing's most prestigious level, there was a point where they were not up to par to keep the drivers safe from the dangers of out-of-control fires. In 1973, at the Dutch Grand Prix, a driver by the name of Roger Williamson was only making his second start in the Formula One series with the March Ford racing team. Although his first race ended prematurely due to an early pileup, there was still a lot of optimism riding around the 25-year-old driver. With back-to-back championships in the British Formula 3 series, the young British driver had a lot of potential to become a star in Formula's top series. While in the early stages of the event, it appeared that the young Englishman was going to have a much better outing than his debut race. However, on lap 8, going through the S's, that glimmer of hope turned into a living nightmare. While exiting the sector of Tunnel Oos and entering the S's upon Normabach, Williamson's Ford suffered a tire failure, causing his vehicle to go off the track and flip on its top. Although the driver was not seriously hurt, Williamson was trapped underneath the wreck and needed further assistance by the track marshals, which were a short distance away. There was only one issue. A fire started while Williamson's car was flipped over. The situation now became a dire one, as now officials were racing against the clock and immense heat to get Roger out of the car, which led to another issue. The marshals were severely underprepared for an incident as serious as this. During the race, the marshals in the corner didn't have any protective flame-resistant clothing, nor proper training, so when the fire started in Williamson's car, the marshals mainly stood there rather than assisting the helpless driver. David Purley, a competitor and friend of Roger Williamson, stopped his car after seeing the crash and immediately came to the attention of the trapped driver. David immediately tried to push the car over, but found it to be too heavy to be able to do it by himself. Purley then tried to extinguish the fire himself, but the crew only had one extinguisher at the scene. All the while, Roger Williamson was in the car, screaming for his friend to save him. At one agonizing point, David Purley tragically stepped away from the car and gave up hope on saving his friend, after Roger's cries for help were no longer heard. Williamson was only 25 years old. It would take 8 agonizing minutes before a fire truck would come onto the scene to fully extinguish the fire from the Williamson car. A pitiful time for track emergency crews to assist in an emergency situation. What's worse was that while the fire raged on, cars continued to drive past as track officials had no interest in halting the race, even though black smoke was billowing in through the air and visibility was nearly non-existent. Even after it was clear that Williamson lost his life in the crash, the race continued on, further putting little care into the life of Roger Williamson that day. It was considered to many as a complete failure of safety from Formula One's end, and sadly, it took the life of a 25-year-old prominent racer. After this horrible incident, backlash immediately followed Formula One after many criticized the sanctioning body for their safety regulations. This caused Formula One to make immediate changes by providing better training to all track officials around the racetrack, along with providing fire safety gear in order to assist in serious situations similar to what happened that fateful day in 1973. This decision would prove to be a correct one, as it appears that Formula One has not seen an incident like this be duplicated since the Dutch Grand Prix more than 50 years ago. As for Roger Williamson, it's heart-wrenching to know that his final moments were not doing what he loved, as we know that he was alive throughout most of the ordeal, and his passing is known to many as one of the worst moments in motorsports history. Drag racing is a unique type of motorsport, as it is one that is based on quick reflexes, pure speed, and lasts only a couple of seconds. Some of the most beloved types of drag racing events in North America tend to be top-fuel dragsters and funny cars, as some of the most well-known drivers in the motorsports made their careers running in these series. And despite the odd names these cars have, they carry some major speed, often breaking the 300 mile per hour mark in such a short distance.
Brittany's past the 8 mile. Brittany Force goes across 343 miles an hour. Holy Christmas.
In fact, when I say short distance, all NHRA events for the last 17 plus years have been only 1,000 feet. But for some time that distance was slightly longer, at a quarter of a mile, which begs the question, what caused this seemingly nonsensical reduction to racing events? On June 21st, 2008, the Lucas Oil NHRA Super Nationals were underway at Old Bridge Township Raceway Park in New Jersey. The final round of qualifying was in progress, and two-time Top Fuel champion Scott Kalitta pulled into the lanes for what appeared to be a routine pass. From the start, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Kalitta launched cleanly and charged towards the finish line without any visible issues. But in an instant, that standard qualifying run would turn into one of the darkest moments in drag racing history. Near the finish line, Kalitta's funny car was traveling close to 300 miles per hour when the engine catastrophically exploded, sending flames bursting from the vehicle. The explosion severely damaged the parachutes, preventing them from deploying as designed. Despite this, later evidence showed that Kalitta applied the brakes and kept the car under control as it entered the shutdown area. The clutch system had locked, continuing to deliver power to the rear wheels, and onboard recordings confirm the engine was still firing for much of the shutdown. Although the car slowed, it was unable to stop in time, traveling at approximately 125 miles per hour. It left the paved surface, cut through a sand trap, and vaulted over a concrete retaining wall. Beyond the designated runoff area, the car struck a telehandler positioned outside the track, violently tearing the vehicle apart. It was reported that the largest section of the car came to rest nearly 250 feet beyond the shutdown area. Scott Kalitta was transported to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. He was only 46 years old.
Many fans have gathered outside the Kalitta camp, and they're united in offering prayers and support and courage to Conrad Kalitta and to Scott's family and to all of those involved. And it's difficult for any of us to find a way to put it into words.
But for Scott, without racing, life had no meaning. It was his legacy, his extended family, and his life. And now, at age 46, it is over.
Kalitta's death sent shockwaves through the NHRA. For decades, drag racing had been defined by speed, but his crash exposed something far more dangerous: the inability to stop safely once that speed was reached. A change had to be made. Within months, NHRA decided that top fuel and funny car events were permanently shortened from a quarter mile to 1,000 feet, reducing terminal speeds and increasing the distance available to slow down. The rule changes were not well received by many, but for some, they felt like it was a decision that needed to be made. Since the change, no top fuel or funny car drivers have lost their life in a similar high-speed shutdown accident. Scott Kalitta's final run proved to all that even in just a length of a football field, the dangers in racing could be the difference between life and death.
Goodness, is that Taron McKenzie?
That looks like
Taylor
Taylor McKenzie.
jumping off a flaming motorcycle.
He had to get off that. He had to get off that.
As scary as fires can be, the same could be said for its counterpart: water. Of course, in street racing, there's hardly any water to maneuver around, as all racetracks run on either pavement or dirt. But that doesn't stop Mother Nature from bringing the moisture to events. For most series, rain is typically a game ender for a race, as series don't even attempt to run in the rain. In recent years though, there have been a few series that have tried to take a stab at the practice, with mixed results. For many, the fear is not the water sitting on the track, but rather the water that gets spit back up into the line of vision. This causes major loss of vision on the driver's end, leading to some rather scary situations. But how truly bad could something like rain be for a race?
That's the number 8 lane, and the 9 is coming down in towards it. Oh my God, that is a massive shunt between the number 9 and the number 8 lane.
In May 3rd, 1998, the second round of the Japanese Grand Touring Car Championship was about to begin at Fuji Speedway, Japan. The only issue is that rain is doing its best to prevent the race from beginning, as heavy rain floods the circuit. Visibility is almost non-existent. For many, this would be a clear indication for a delay of events in the world of racing. But despite the conditions, the Japanese Grand Touring Car Series is going to make the fateful decision of starting the race as scheduled. Today, that is going to be a big mistake. As the cars rev around the track, the pace car is racing around way too quickly. As they approach the starting grid line, it slowed abruptly. In the fog of water and exhaust, drivers barely saw the abrupt change and reacted instinctively. A Porsche lost control, another car struck it, and amongst the fog sat two cars, barely visible but badly damaged from the incident. Soon, Tetsuya Ota's Ferrari F355 slid onto the scene. And if the incident wasn't visible then, it was about to be. The two cars of Tomohiko Sunaku and Tetsuya Ota would slam into each other and ignite a fireball. Sunaku's car spun into the grass area where it finally came to rest, before he climbed out of the car and laid on the grass. Tomohiko suffered a broken leg from the incident, but as terrifying as the crash was, many say that he was fairly lucky. The same couldn't be said for the Ferrari driver. Ota's Ferrari came to rest near the pit exit, engulfed in flames hotter than 1500 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside the car, he sat there burning. Seconds passed, then more. Finally, someone came. It was another driver, Senichi Yamachi, who stopped first. He abandoned his own race, grabbed a fire extinguisher, and ran towards the inferno. Nearly 90 seconds after the crash, Ota was finally pulled free. He would survive, but his nightmare wasn't over. Tetsuya Ota had suffered third-degree burns on his face and neck and minor burns across his entire body. He had to get multiple surgeries done, including surgeries to fix the nasal area where the plastic visor had literally melted onto his face. He endured the unbearable pain of numerous skin grafts to his face and body 12 times in the first year alone. And after all that, Tetsuya was no longer able to move his right arm, right shoulder, and fingers properly. His racing career was over. The aftermath reached far beyond the hospital. Investigations revealed failures in pace car procedures, emergency response timing, and fire suppression readiness. In a landmark decision, a Tokyo court ruled that the race organizers bore responsibility for the accident. From that ruling came reform. The Japanese Grand Touring Car Series mandated dedicated medical cars, stricter safety car protocols, especially in wet conditions, and improved fire response training and equipment at every circuit. What had once been preferences became requirements. As for Tetsuya Ota, he never raced again, but his accident reshaped how Japanese motorsports protect its drivers. Sometimes, the biggest changes in racing don't come from victory. In Tetsuya's case, they come from survival.
Because he is having a... Whoa! You gotta be kidding me! And he rides it into a slap wheelie! Unbelievable! How high was he?
Some people may not believe it, but even monster trucks are a form of motorsports in the racing world. While yes, it relies heavily on showmanship and entertainment for its product, there are drag racing competitions that are held in many events throughout the world, providing a wild but competitive competition between these heavy machines. One of the biggest monster truck series is without a doubt Monster Jam, the same Monster Jam that has the likes of Monster Mutt, Maximum Destruction, and of course, Gravedigger. But one thing that many fans have noticed in Monster Jam competitions in the last decade and a half has been the introduction of something that has frustrated fans for a while now, the kill switch. A remote switch that can shut off the engine of a truck whenever the officials feel like it's necessary. The question is, why would they ever install such a device to a machine that would surely disappoint fans in attendance? July 18th, 2009, the Tacoma Dome in Washington is sold out for a Monster Jam event, and thousands of fans, many of them families, are filling the seats. On the floor that night was a truck called Natural High, a custom-built freestyle monster truck known for tight spins and aggressive driving. What no one in the stands knew was that something inside the truck was about to fail. During the freestyle portion of the show, Natural High accelerated into a spin. Suddenly, a drivetrain component failed. A heavy piece of rotating metal, part of the truck's internal assembly, broke loose at high speed. With nothing to contain it, the object launched upward, clearing the safety barriers. The 7 to 12-pound ring then traveled 30 to 50 feet into the stands and in the direction of one young fan. The debris struck 6-year-old Sebastian Hizzi in the head, shearing off a 3-inch long, 3-inch wide chunk of his skull, leaving him in critical condition. The following day, he died from his injuries. An adult spectator seated nearby was also seriously injured, and for the first time in U.S. monster truck history, a spectator had been killed by flying debris. Investigators quickly focused on a difficult truth. Monster trucks were designed to protect drivers, but not spectators, from mechanical failures. Monster trucks had overlooked this flaw in their sport, and it cost the life of one of their fans. Natural High was immediately retired from competition, and the sport was forced to change. Promoters and teams began adopting new standards: driveshaft loops and containment systems to prevent rotating parts from breaking free, driveshaft blankets designed to absorb and trap debris, and improved engine kill systems allowing officials to shut a truck down instantly. And although fans may be frustrated by some of the changes that have been made, there's a good reason for why they're in place. Was it a freak accident? Perhaps. Are they willing to risk another child to lose their life for entertainment purposes? Absolutely not. Sebastian Hizzi went to a monster truck show for excitement, and his death forced an industry to face its blind spots and ensure that the future fans would be safer because of it.
Unbelievable. Mario, with the killer instinct, even though it was his son, stayed in the throttle as they came across the stripe. It was that close.
In our last story, we take a look at some of racing's true royalty as we dive into one of the most successful families the sport has ever seen, the Andrettis. Mario Andretti needs no introduction. His talent behind the wheel stretched across generations and disciplines, leaving a legacy few drivers will ever touch. His son Michael Andretti may not have reached the same legendary status as his father, but calling his career anything less than successful would be a mistake. With 42 wins and more than 100 podium finishes across multiple series, Michael proved that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But even for a family built on trophies, talents, and decades of success, racing has a way of reminding everyone just how thin the line really is. Experience doesn't eliminate danger, and legacy doesn't offer protection. In motorsports, everything can change in a heartbeat. For Michael Andretti, that moment came during the summer of 1998 on a fast, unforgiving stretch of asphalt at Mid-Ohio. During a lap at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, Michael Andretti was charging through the sweeping S's when something suddenly went wrong.
Slips inside. He taps PJ, trying to pass him. Look at that. And he lands upside down on the track, rolling again, tumbling. Look at that. What a ride through that. Oh!
The car snapped sideways, caught the grass, and launched into the air. What followed was a violent sequence of flips and impacts. Debris flew off the car, wheels tearing free, and the car tumbling end over end before finally coming to rest in silence. For a moment, the entire circuit froze. Safety crews rushed towards the wreckage, bracing themselves for the worst. The cockpit was crushed. The crash looked unsurvivable. And then, something incredible happened.
And there is Michael climbing out, and that is the best news we've had all day.
Have you ever seen a crash like that before?
Oh, I never seen Michael take a tumble like that before. Biggest crash he ever had, I think.
Michael Andretti unbuckled, climbed out of the destroyed car, and stood up on his own. No stretcher, no ambulance ride, just the shaken driver walking away from one of the most frightening crashes of the season. It wasn't luck alone. The strength of the chassis, the energy-absorbing design, and the safety systems built into modern Indy cars all worked exactly as they were meant to in the moment it mattered most. That crash at Mid-Ohio became a powerful reminder of how far racing safety had come, and proof that even in the most violent moments, preparation can turn disaster into survival. Sometimes the best ending in motorsports isn't a checkered flag. Sometimes it's simply walking away.